Extinguishing the Fires, Chapter 3, The Fire of Delusion. It's easy to see and understand how the fires of greed and anger burn the eyes. But what about the fire of delusion? The fire of delusion is burning the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and heart most of the time, yet it's hard to see that it's doing so. If someone wants badly to have something or be something, they spend a lot of time thinking about it. They spend so much time thinking and dreaming. As the mind is absorbed in this wishing, they lose sleep and having difficulty resting. The same is true when anger prevents us from getting rest. These two examples illustrate the fires of greed and anger, respectively. They are easier to recognize than the fire of delusion. When we encounter a neutral object, neither good nor bad, the fire of delusion is burning slowly, quietly, and quite inapparently. It burns our brain without us noticing it. It is the nature of delusion to be confused and not know the truth. That being the case, it is more dangerous than greed and anger. Since delusion does not know the truth, its fire starts to burn as soon as any of the 6 sense objects appear to their respective sense bases. As successors, the fires of greed and anger burn, as the case may be. If there is no delusion, there is no place for greed or anger to arise. But when there is delusion, it entrusts its heritage to greed and anger, who receive it and continue to burn. When we see a visible object, delusion takes that object to be a person, a man, a woman, beautiful, ugly, likable, unlikable, and so on. What it fails to recognize is that the visible object is really just matter. As it fails to 33 Venerable Ajahn Chaya understand this, the fire of delusion begins to burn the eyes. On the other hand, if we see the visible object as just matter, and know that our awareness of the object is just seeing, then there's no room for delusion to arise. Both the cognized object and the cognition itself appear and vanish one after another. When we see these realities with insight knowledge, the fire of delusion does not burn at all. The fire of delusion burns the ears. We hear sounds every day. Whether a sound is sweet, terrible, or neutral, we should be mindful and realize that there is merely mind and matter arising and disappearing. Otherwise, delusion will come and take over. When it does, greed will follow a desirable sound, anger will follow an undesirable sound, and yet more delusion will follow a neutral sound. Someone might say, "I hear someone talking." Both I and someone are concepts, and there is wrong view when we fail to recognize this. The fire of delusion is burning. What should we do with delusion? When we hear something, we should contemplate that there is merely the hearing of sound. If we hear someone using syllables to form sentences, we should pay attention to it and come to understand that when one syllable disappears, another syllable comes to replace it. When the old one ceases, a new one comes. Syllables arise and disappear one after another. It is wisdom to know the arising and disappearing of a series of syllables as impermanence. When there is wisdom, in that moment there is no room for delusion. 34. Extinguishing the fires. Furthermore, it's not only the sound that is impermanent, as the knowing mind is also impermanent. When we see that both mind and matter are constantly arising and vanishing, the fire of delusion cannot burn. With mindfulness and wisdom, the followers of delusion, namely greed and anger, cannot arise either. Delusion and non-delusion are opposites, so delusion cannot arise while there is non-delusion or wisdom, since two consciousnesses cannot arise at the same time. The fire of delusion burns the nose. Throughout each day we encounter good smells, bad smells, and smells that are neither good nor bad. Both good and bad smells become neutral when they become familiar to us. Without awareness, a neutral smell is fertile ground for the arising of delusion. The same is true when we ignore neutral smells. For these reasons, we need to cultivate an awareness that is attentive and precise, and sees the comings and goings of experiences as impermanence. Unlike the blazing fires of greed and anger, the fire of delusion burns slow and long, and is harder to see and extinguish. How do we extinguish the fire of delusion at the nose? Extinguishing starts with awareness. An odor is not form or entity. It does not exist for long. Even when it exists, it depends upon air to be carried to us. A smell will exist as long as its cause is operative. There is just cause and effect. They are interrelated. Without a cause, there is no effect. The mind that knows smells arising one after another is wise and non-delusional. By knowing the true nature of 35 venerable Ajahn Chaya, mind and matter, the fire of delusion is extinguished. This, I assure you, is the most amazing fire extinguisher in the world. The fire of delusion is burning the tongue too. When we're hungry and enjoying a meal, the fire of greed is burning, yet the fire of anger burns when we lose our appetite and no longer find satisfaction in the food. The fire of delusion is burning when we lack attention and the mind wanders while eating, often making us overlook the taste of the food. By the time the food on the table is gone, our precious time has been squandered as well. Oh my goodness, we're left with a full stomach but no mindfulness or wisdom. This kind of eating is fuel that keeps the fire of delusion burning. How do we extinguish the fire of delusion at the tongue? Like slaves, we have to serve and care for this body by eating and drinking many times each day. Still, we should know how to eat and drink wisely and rightly, utilizing the methods taught to us by our Lord Buddha. By following his advice, we will benefit widely and abundantly. During mealtimes, we should have awareness of and note every instance of eating, biting, chewing, drinking, and swallowing. Because the mind has the intention to do something like chewing, the mouth, teeth, and tongue work accordingly. By realizing the phenomena of both mind and matter arising and disappearing together incessantly, we offer no chance for delusion to arise. This is why it's important to practice and train the mind to know every action of eating, biting, chewing, and so on as much as we can. In time, this task will become easier. Try your best to know these things for yourself. 36. Extinguishing the fires. A lack of practice in mental cultivation manifests in forgetting the principles of the training itself. This is delusion as well. Consider that most people eat 3 or 4 meals each day, and that it may take 30 minutes to finish a single meal. If we train our mind by eating with mindfulness and wisdom at every meal, our insight knowledge is sure to increase day by day over the course of our life. When insight knowledge is mature, it's possible to gain enlightenment even while eating. The fire of delusion also burns the body. Most people never tire of smilingly looking in the mirror and making modifications to ensure the body looks good. Unfortunately, as they do, they fail to realize the impermanent and impure reality of the body. In other words, the fire of delusion is burning. Throughout the entire course of our life, from birth to death, impurities are draining from the 9 holes of the body many times a day. Yet almost no one gets tired of attending to this foul body every day, as if we are slaves working for a cleaning service. Every day, we have to feed the body, put clothing on it, go to the toilet, take a shower, brush the teeth, and so on. Instead of complaining about all the work and hassle, we seem to enjoy all the maintenance. Why? Because ignorance doesn't see the truth. As such, some of us may have to serve this loathsome body again in future lives. The tangible things we use to support the body, clothing, chairs, sofas, beds, and other items, are defiled by the oils and filth of this disgusting body, yet we still find joy in them. The power of ignorance clouds the mind and blinds the eyes. We are like moths approaching a fire only to get burned. Ignorant people get burned by the fire of delusion. 37. Venerable Ajahn Chaya. How do we extinguish the fire of delusion at the body? With every action, the fire of delusion will continue to burn if we lack awareness and wisdom. Each day, from the time we wake until the time we fall asleep, we should be aware of touching, movements, stretching, hotness, warmth, coldness, pleasant feelings and unpleasant feelings in the body. As we develop mental culture in this way, we stop considering this or that a man, a woman, a person, a hand, and so on. We will see the truth of these things being mere combinations of psychophysical phenomena. Among mind and matter, matter does not have the ability to know anything. But as mind has the intention for the body to move, the air element arises and the body moves. A sequence of mental intentions leads to a sequence of bodily movements as a matter of cause and effect. Who knows this? Wisdom. Here, wisdom and non-delusion are synonyms. When there is wisdom, there is no fire of delusion. When there is no delusion, there are no fires of greed or anger. Since non-delusion, or vipassana, insight, knowledge, is knowing the truth, no ego or personal wrong view can arise. It is absolutely essential to practice mindfulness meditation in order to gain this kind of knowledge. Now that I've spoken about how the fire of delusion burns the 5 sense bases, I'd like to talk about how it burns the heart. A fire of delusion burning the heart is incredibly strong. In line with our nature as human beings, we are constantly thinking and imagining. We repeatedly recall good and bad experiences from our past. Sometimes, recalling a heartbreaking situation from our past may 38 extinguishing the fires bring us to tears. When we think of a past experience that was pleasant, we may feel good and smile. As we go on thinking and reminiscing, we fail to notice the arising and disappearing of mind and matter in the present. It's not only the past where we get lost. We also spend much of our time dreaming about the future. We plan for this or that, or worry about ourselves, friends, family, business, health, and so on. All of this worry often amounts to nothing more than the worry itself. Worry and sadness are unwholesome consciousness, and living with either of them is wasting time in this precious life in vain. 39.